Hey, Steve here. Welcome to this short video on T20 cricket trading. Hard to believe that just in 2003, T20 cricket was created and first played, and now here we are, 2026. It's slotted to be in the LA Olympics in 2028, and in 2007 it had its own World Cup already, and now every 2 years there's a World Cup for T20 cricket. This was brought about to actually breathe life into cricket to the young people, and it certainly did that, bringing younger crowds to the game. The game's only lasting 3 hours, so not tying up a whole day on the ODIs or even longer, God forbid, on the Test cricket. So it proved to be a very successful way to sell cricket to the young people and to families, and to get a different atmosphere of noise, excitement, flashing lights, and the kids, as I said, are really get involved. But also what it did, it gave a perfect opportunity in the fast-moving betting exchanges in that world. It brought a fast-moving tool to trade. And fast-moving, I mean fast-moving. The other day in the Perth game, there was one wicket and the price went from $5 down to $3 just in that 2 minutes. So it is very fast-moving and very exciting. We don't care on who wins or who loses the match. Really, we're looking at opportunities to get in at a high price and get out at a low price if we're laying or backing. It's or looking at over rate, runs per overs. And in fact, what it actually came down to the other day in a rain shortened match, I should say, um, the Melbourne Stars needed 5 runs off the last ball to win the game. Four runs, a four would have tied the game and gone into an over, super over, and of course, six would have won them the game on the very last ball of a rain-shortened game. And that last ball traded for $4 million in between starting that one ball to bowl to when it was bowled and hit. So it just shows you how much money can be involved in this game. And we're looking at in the Australian last two games, the Scorchers versus Sydney Sixers was $152 million Australian bet on that game over the 3 hours. And the game in Tasmania with the Hurricanes was trading only for about an hour 20 because it was a rain affected match, and that actually traded did 74 million in that short rain affected period of that match. Regardless of what you know about T20 cricket, it is really quite irrelevant because what we're looking for is swings and mood of the game, watching it on TV, and trying to predict what other people aren't seeing. And once you start trading, you'll get a feel for that a wicket can make a lot. A six even can boost the price. Early wickets you'll find make immediate reaction to price, but a lot of the time in the scheme of the game, they don't mean a lot. I just want to show you a couple of graphs from Betfair on the trading in, say, the Perth game. Okay, so this is the Sydney prices. So this is the start when Sydney was bowling. They opened up at about $2.25, and we can see the ebb and flow through here. So a third of the way through the innings of them bowling, they were out to $3. Then they came down to around 170, and they traded right down here low around the 126 mark, 130, and then they came into bat. And you can see that the line came up here, and this is obviously a dismissal to $2, came back down to around the 130, and then the wheels fell off Sydney, and you can see there this is the price spiking right out to 350 to $4, and needless to say, Sydney went on to lose that game, and they lost it with about 5 overs to spare. It was quite a dramatic fall. They actually last traded. I took this image earlier so that we could see the movements, but their last trading price, Sydney, was at 60. So after being at $1.26, they traded at $60. And these little castles here aren't runs. These are the liquidity on here. So you can see here, this here, there's 2 million traded in that. I'm not sure what time frame they're using. Probably looks like not even 5 minute increments, because there's 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So you can see how many little scrapers are in there. And you can see when they're bowling, when they must have obviously got a wicket, they got up to $2.5 million trading there. So very much fluid game. When you can see we started at 220 and we ended up, as I said, at 60. So quite a range for a 3-hour game. And you can see 78.5 million was traded on the Sydney Sixers. Now, if we bring up the Scorchers, Perth, my team, we can see here that they started favourites. They were about 272 I got with the PAB, but I think they were about 172 and they were 180 on Betfair. They lost 3 wickets very quickly, and we can see here they burst out to about 240, and they never really got going. They only scored about 146 runs, which was not very many runs. And you can see there when they were failing, their price was just going out and out and out. In the last few overs, they hit a few good runs and the price came down a bit. But we can see here now, once we got into Perth bowling, the price, Steve Smith was in for the 4 power plays, and Perth did an amazing thing. They kept Steve Smith at only 3 balls that he faced, I think, for his 8 runs in 4 overs of the power play. Now, they got a very low power play total, and we can see the price after the power play, the price came down. Then they lost a few wickets, and so they put on a few runs, so Perth's price went up to 550. 550 was the highest price Perth went to. So keeping in mind they started around 180, they ended up at 550. Steve Smith, they lost 1 wicket then, and then they recovered, and Steve Smith was out here, and the price for the Scorchers was down to $2 by that time. So from 550 in the space of about 8 or 9 overs, their price had come down $3. And you can see there, this is when the innings ended, and Perth was trading at 101. So there was plenty of trading opportunities to be had here, and you can see there near the end of that Sydney innings with Perth bowling, there was $5 million in 2 occasions there within a 5-minute window. So plenty of liquidity. In fact, 67 million was invested on the Scorchers, coupled with that 73 or 76 that was with the Sydney. So it made $152 million spent in 3 hours trading this T20. This was the first of the finals for the BBL, and it's just here as an illustration. So thanks for watching this introduction video. Please have a look at the sales page below. You can actually see this game sort of over by over and what happened and how the price fluctuated. So thanks for your time today. I hope that you see enough to get involved in T20. There's plenty happening. As I do this video, we've got the World Cup starting soon, followed straight away by the IPL in India, which I managed to go to one year. I actually did see an IPL game a few years ago when I was in Delhi with David Warner leading the Delhi Daredevils, who were on a hot streak. The night we went, they got beaten. Warner made 1, and he was playing Mike Hussey's Chennai Super Kings. And all in all, I just couldn't believe the atmosphere and the noise. It was just such a fantastic night. That noise and atmosphere has been transported to Australia now in the BBL. I hear some people say, oh, does the BBL work for men and women? Well, women play in the BBL and the IPL. but we find in the women's games there's not enough liquidity to trade the way you can trade in the men's T20. So our trading now is really looking at men's T20. So on behalf of Michael, who's put a lot of work into this book, and myself, Steve, I hope you see enough to get enthused and get into the book so that you can trade T20 cricket. There is a restriction. Obviously, in Australia, we can't trade in play on the net. We have to ring up. It's slow, it's clumsy, but it can be done. But certainly around the world, you don't have that impediment and you can trade on the click of a button where it is very fast and happening. And I'm sure you get a lot of excitement, joy, and profit out of trading T20 cricket.